cool. And I'm assuming my turn. Hello and welcome to this episode of Frack the Canon. I'm Renee Mendoza. As my tag will say here eventually. I am joined again by other Renee. And then my guy hasn't been here for a while. When's the last time you were here?
It's been months and months.
Yeah,
Many moons.
Many
this is
moons.
John Helmholz and his friend.
Taylor.
Yes.
You might want to do that again.
No, do we? No.
No,
It
I
was
think
focused in on you the entire time.
That's okay.
All
So,
right.
Taylor, tell us a little about yourself before we get going.
Well, my name's Taylor. I live in Monterey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lover of dance and 80s music and a good whiskey.
Ooh, okay.
There we go.
Awesome. There we go.
And nerd shit.
And last but
and
not
nerd
least,
shit.
my favorite Midwesterner, Mr. C.J. McCree, all the way from Milwaukee. Good sir. How are you?
I live, I breathe. Occasionally I eat and stuff.
Do you
Same.
poop
Okay.
too?
All righty.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Cool. All right, there we go.
Sorry, sorry.
Not everyone does
There's C.J. McCree. All righty. So what we're going to talk about today is, I see you're wearing you're rocking, we're going to talk the subject matter, Venom. So can we roll that clip, please?
I'm Eddie Brock. I'm a reporter. I found something really
Oh,
bad.
this is that movie.
I'm hearing a voice.
How coincidental.
How weird.
What is that? What do you want from me? You will find out.
You have no idea how much you're scaring me right now.
What the hell are you? We are Venom.
How metal was that, guys? So metal. CJ, you're the biggest Venom fan I know. What was your take on it? And then we'll go to the rest of the panel. Because I know you got a lot to talk about it. So let's start with you.
I'm gonna disappoint you today.
Status quo, good sir. Status quo.
Ouch. No. So as you know, I am a huge Venom fan. If you can't tell by the jacket I'm wearing, and maybe if you can even make out this shirt that I got on here.
I can barely see it.
But yeah, I love Venom. I was nervous about the movie coming out, as both of us were. Me and you, Renee, talked about this a lot. But even though they still had the stupid idea to come out with a Venom movie without Spider-Man, they still did a decent job, I thought, because a lot of the draw of Venom to me is the character and the character struggle. You know what I mean? The fact that he's like physically and mentally bonded with this alien creature. And that kind of internal struggle, you know, them kind of like, oh, where does the monster begin? Where do I end? Kind of a thing, you know what I mean? Like that whole aspect of Venom, like that whole like mental cerebral aspect of Venom is what I love. And I thought they kind of did that part right about this movie.
Alrighty. Taylor, your thoughts on Venom?
I mean, so I didn't read much of the comics.
Okay.
So I kind of like went in blind, which in some ways is kind of nice sometimes. But I don't know. I liked it. I really did. I liked it more than I thought I would, considering everyone like dissed it so much. You know, they're like, oh gosh, you know. But I can see where people are coming from. But overall, I thought it was like pretty fun movie, and I really did like the interaction between Venom and what's his face?
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. I mean, no, Eddie, yeah. What's his name?
Eddie Brock.
Bane.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Bane.
Bane.
John.
Him and Bane. They did really well.
Mr. Helmholtz.
So it's tricky ground for me because growing up, Spider-Man was my #1 Marvel guy.
Yeah.
And so going way back, like I knew of the Spidey, Symbiote, Venom saga before I ever knew of Dark Phoenix or anything that went on with X-Men. I always knew about Spidey, and I think that was kind of the hardest part for me about this movie, was kind of just having to let that go, but then at the same time, like just falling in love with Tom Hardy's depiction, because he voiced Venom,
Right.
and he killed it. He was the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Everything that I ever came to have a problem with, I was like, well, you know what? At least I know Tom Hardy is acting his heart out, and I had so much fun. I think I was like one of 3 people in the theater who was laughing maybe the entire movie. I was that annoying guy. But like I had so much fun. I thought the action was great. A little bit of the story felt kind of recycled, but I can see I can see what what was the appeal for him, and I thought that, especially as a character as Eddie Brock, I thought he was excellent. So definitely pleasantly surprised.
Renee.
I kind of felt the same way about the Spider-Man Venom thing. I grew up acknowledging Venom was Spider-Man's villain, or
Right.
you know, opposite. So it was hard to kind of take myself away from that. But overall, the movie was pretty okay for me. I mean, I had a hard time with the first hour of the movie.
That's the biggest gripe.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like the story, like you said, it was hard. It was recycled, and then parts of the dialogue.
Recycled how? What do you guys?
Did you notice how, for some reason, Eddie Brock manages to screw up his entire own life before even meeting the symbiote? He throws everything under the bus in like 12 hours. He's like, you know what? I've been doing great as an investigative reporter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna punch this guy in the face in his damn complex of his job. And then his fiance is like, I can't be with you anymore. It's like, oh, dude, this is
The first 15 minutes of the movie, she was like,
someone
and
played Jenga wrong.
Yeah.
exactly.
The bottom, and just
Pulled it out.
It was down.
Basically a classic Marvel trope, if you think
It
about
was
it.
rock bottom before.
Yeah, like
Before
the
he hits.
arrogance.
Yeah.
Every Marvel guy is arrogant to some extent that they're self-destructive.
Would you agree that we kind of almost saw that immediate rock bottom the same way in Doctor Strange? That
Yes.
felt very
Yeah.
unnatural.
Yep.
That when you hit that immediately, the character arc doesn't come into play with the character at all. His life is shit before he meets this challenging thing. Why wouldn't he choose it? He's he's suicidal. Why wouldn't he take a symbiote? What's he got to lose?
I mean, that's the thing.
What's he got to lose?
Is that not the point, though?
Yeah, well,
Because he's like,
Frack.
his character arc is
First of all, it's symbiote, okay?
symbiotes.
No, it's
Sorry.
parasite.
I thought they said symbiote.
And is it symbiote? Symbiote. CJ, what are you saying?
Symbiote.
Symbiote.
Symbiotes.
Symbiote.
Whatever. Well, I will say, since the camera's on me, I agree with Renee and John's point. I kind of feel like this is very much the anti-Tony Stark origin. You know what I mean?
How so?
Like how Tony Stark kind of begins like a very similar way, just like John said, like he screws up his life in like 15 minutes. We get that quick. With Eddie too, we get like a little quick like. It was like a highlight reel or something of his career or something, right? Like
That's
of his
right,
journalism. They kind of start that same way with Iron Man 1, you know what I mean? Like, but this is obviously a cheesier version of that.
Yeah.
He's kind of like new, too, and it's like really cute picture of him and his girlfriend on the computer. I was like, he's about to fuck this up for sure. I don't even know what's happening, but I'm like, he's about to screw this up.
But
I love how in 6 months she's already moved out and like.
This was what bothered me the most.
Eddie, I know that we were about to get married.
6 months
but-
later, but it's like, you were just engaged. How did you find like a stunning doctor that fast that
He
you're like
should've ate her
practically
face.
living with?
Should have ate her face. Should have.
It was a bit much for
Should've
me.
just
I didn't
eaten her.
expect to like her. She kind of like
she was
redeemed herself towards the end a little bit, but
she
like
was kind of dull.
right
in
from the get-go, I was kind of like,
beginning.
I don't know who this girl is, but she
Yeah.
doesn't
Oh,
seem
yeah.
interesting enough to.
And then she's like,
Yes,
I'm badass.
Yeah, her. I was kind of
She's like the Jane
eh.
Foster of Venom. I'm a scientist. Nah.
It's like, wear your pantsuit tonight. I really
Yeah,
love it.
Frack.
Just look like a
Sure.
sexy attorney,
Please.
please.
That's what she's supposed to be.
Prosecute me, please.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
the attorney.
CJ, take over because this is for you. You're the Venom guy.
Yeah. I don't know what.
I don't know. Okay. So, all right. What did you guys think of specifically the relationship between Eddie and Venom?
Okay. That was interesting to me because as a Spider-Man fan, as a Venom, I used to like Venom until everything became a symbiote.
Yeah,
I'm like,
there was so
Frack
many.
this.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I liked it. I liked it that it was in the comic books. It's symbiotic. It's give and take,
Yeah.
and it's the hate of Peter Parker
Right.
and Spider-Man that
Right.
makes Venom.
Right.
At this point, it would seem like the symbiote was the driving force. Like, let me take over. Let me.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to get over it until I liked it at the end. My favorite part is when he jumps up to the Philly, goes jump off. He goes, no, pussy.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So something that I was discussing, and there's Eddie Brock right there. And this is something I've gathered from watching a character like Peter Parker. That's what's so cool about watching him struggle with the symbiote all those times ago, is because in Peter Parker's life, he always has a bully.
Yeah.
Whether he's in high school, whether he's working at the Daily Bugle, whether he's Spider-Man, and that's kind of what he becomes as the symbiote Spidey, right? And so you see that kind of element of that darkness surge through him. But in this one, I don't feel like we get to see Eddie's dark side. I feel like Eddie's dark side is Venom. You know what I mean? Like you don't see him acting out as Eddie Brock. You see him, oh, this is Venom doing his thing. I'm just letting Venom do his thing. And I think that's what is probably, I think, the most dividing part for me, is watching the character be like, you can't tell is he an anti-hero or is he a hero?
See,
that was the interesting thing for me, because I always I had heard this, like, Venom is this, like,
anti-hero.
he's an anti-hero.
He's a villain until he's an
and so, like, I was kind of expecting him to be a villain in this, and like from the get-go, Eddie, his character, like, was just like seemed like a really good guy, except for the fact that he like kind of screwed up his life in the beginning. He's like, I must make this case, like, I really have to like get the information or whatever it was. So he did anything to do it, and it screwed up his life. But other than that, it was like, he's just a regular guy who's
lives in a really nice apartment in SF.
Exactly.
When he has
Even
no
though
job.
He hasn't worked for 6
Even though he is unemployed, he lives
and
in
he's super nice with the homeless
4,600 square foot apartment.
Exactly, and he's really nice with the homeless lady, and he's really nice to, like,
he has
the lady on the
$20
blogs.
extra cash.
Extra cash to give this
struggling with
homeless
Even
cash
though
and
he's
gets her
unemployed.
20. Yeah.
Exactly. He must have been
Excuse me.
really loaded before.
Yeah.
Yeah. To live 6 months in San Francisco.
You really threw that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Without a job, you had to be
I'm
just.
like, there's no truth in this art. For that one bit, I'm like, no, bullshit. CJ, what do you got? What do you think? What did you think about the relationship between the symbiote and Eddie Brock?
I thought it was interesting. I liked I didn't think about what you guys were saying before about how, like, the trailer kept saying, like, he's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe him and the symbiote together made an anti-hero because of what you were saying, John, that Eddie was kind of the good guy and Venom, the symbiote, was kind of the bad guy. And together, because I really liked like the fight scenes, you know what I mean? When he's in his apartment and he / the symbiote are fighting these guys, but the symbiote, the way he's moving, you can tell the symbiote's like manipulating his body to move, you know what I mean? Right. I thought that was like a cool idea, in that, like, Venom kind of takes over when when the suit is over him. It's kind of in the driver's seat, but it's like he's letting him do that, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a different take on the idea of a symbiotic relationship. There are there are things that Eddie does, there are things that the symbiote kind of does, you know what I mean? And there's some things that they can kind of do together and play off one another.
All right, that's interesting. What do you think about Carlton Drake? Riz, what was like? I'm like, what
you mean the substitute to bring in Riot?
I mean, I guess
to bring in Riot, basically.
Yeah, because it was very.
It was so
thinly built. It was so thinly built, like this, like you could cut that story thread in, like, easily. Yeah. What did you guys think? Well, John, let's start with you.
I thought that it was an interesting premise to kind of begin with, just so that you can kind of have that basis of someone who's willing to push those boundaries, but it just. What at one point he goes, yeah, I understand you're only 24 years old or something. Like, they basically paint him out to be, he's supposed to be like a child.
He's supposed to be like Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's like 24 or something like that. And, like, the way they're painting him out to be, and, like, he has this, like, God complex, and it's just very unoriginal with, like, the same, like, with Harry Osborn.
Yes.
You know, with Harry and Norman Osborn, Norman decides to kind of put himself in the middle of it. Never do we see his character do that until it's forced upon him.
Right.
I think that would have probably been a saving grace for him, just to throw himself in the middle, to give him the Riot symbiote, but instead it was accidental. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that was my biggest problem, was, like, a lot of these things in the movie kind of happen per chance, and it makes his villain part kind of feel like He's just used.
Not even
by
that,
the
but
symbiote.
even the symbiote that was going from
right.
why did it take
Person
so
to person.
that is so dumb.
go
But it's
specific
I was
to
confused by
him.
that the entire
It's
time,
the
and it's like
chief
throughout the movie
symbiote.
they just kind of like
It's
throw
the
it
chief
in.
symbiote. And to have oh my god, and to have that kind of be like the villain, and he's not even, he's like a lighter shade of Venom. His face is a little bigger. Like
He's like slightly larger.
It felt like
basically.
it felt like the 2008 Incredible Hulk, where you had Abomination, and then Hulk. You have like this version of Venom, and then a different
there you go.
version. Yeah. So it's like I understand why they did what they did. I'm just tired of seeing these origin movies where they're always fighting their antithesis.
So that's what they said.
I'm sick of that.
Marvel,
So
has, Marvel
unoriginal.
has that thing that the Iron Man
Yes.
fights an evil Iron Man.
Iron Man,
Doctor Strange fights an evil
Ironmonger,
Doctor Strange,
Thor. Yeah,
Venom fights an
exactly.
evil Venom. Thor fights his brother. Like
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he's like basically like Venom's bully on their planet, right?
Yeah, pretty much. He said he was the leader. He said
And like that he was a loser or something like
Yeah.
that. He's like,
I'm
that's
a
why I
loser
like
too.
you, because we're losers.
Which was kind of like,
But even,
That's true.
but I didn't know what their plan was too either. Like till the very end, I'm like, so, like, why are you following him?
did I miss something? What happened to the other three symbiotes?
They died.
One of them
Their
died.
hosts, their
The
The
hosts,
yellow one died.
Yeah. They couldn't live without their host.
And they kept
because-
exiting, and they kept exiting their host.
Yeah, and then
that
they
was it.
died because
one
they
of them
couldn't.
died.
How long did they survive outside of their host though? Because Venom survived
6
outside
months
of.
apparently.
Like, what the heck? Like,
Yeah, it's a good point though.
Touche, Renee.
it's like they're like it's gonna die once it leaves, you know? Because there's that one, the doctor chick, like she just like died, and they're like, you let this. You let
it
symbiote
die in her.
Like, where were you guys when it exited? And then, like, freaking Venom's just like, I'm gonna, like, crawl up into this,
It lived in a dog.
shaft. And then, like, I'm gonna attack this dog. And then, like, and then it kept killing the people at first. Like, everyone in the beginning who, like, got a symbiote, like, died pretty much right off the bat. Pretty graphically right off the bat. And then all of a sudden it can go into a dog.
I
Like, without
called
it
it
being
like
fun.
as soon as I saw that yappy little dog, I was like,
There,
something better
yeah.
not happen to that dog, and it happened.
So I think I'm kind of confused because, like, I guess I got from the first part of the movie that you needed a very specific host, and like these hosts weren't always right for the symbiotes, and then all of a sudden they could go into anyone.
Yeah, right?
Like, I'm like, okay, it went to the dog, it
old sick
went to the
lady.
girl,
Yeah.
and she was fine.
Yeah,
Like,
Like,
the
sick
medic,
lady.
the old lady, the little girl, and then I'm like, what?
And then, I mean, even like Venom went into his girlfriend, Anne or whatever.
So let's talk about She-Venom. All right, can we have a picture of She-Venom? CJ, you know more about the Venom. Well, what She-Venom? Let's talk about that. That's like
That's a sexy Venom.
I know. I know, huh?
Look at that ass. It's like, she's very like seductively posed.
CJ, your thoughts on She-Venom?
Well, no, She-Venom was a bit of a geek out moment for me in the movie. Having been a Venom fan and specifically like his anti-hero career, Venom fan, and she popped up in that era of Venom, and so when I saw her in the movie, obviously I knew the character was a nod to her. When I saw her in the movie, I thought that I was like, oh man, this is awesome, kind of, yeah. But yeah, it was cool, a cool nod. I thought.
Are we seeing a potential towards Ultimate Carnage?
See,
in the next couple
let's talk
years?
about Carnage because that ending, it feels like they're leading up to Carnage, right? Like it feels like that.
But it felt so forced.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere because it came out of nowhere. Like why?
Honestly.
It felt kind of like Silence of the Lambs. Like go to the bad guy to get information. But like
Because the only reason why a Cletus Cassidy would become Carnage is because Venom tears itself away from Eddie for a while.
In the comics.
In the comics.
In the cartoons.
You know what I mean?
But when they're not gonna do that, we know that Floyd's not going to do that because they've been fracking it up all this freaking time. How do you guys see Carnage happening? Do you know who Carnage is?
Yes, he informed me.
Okay.
So, thank you.
How do you see that happening?
I kind of see it being the same kind of situation where it's not going to be some kind of random coincidence. It's going to be like the red symbiote gets out of its tube and finds its way to the prison.
Somehow.
It's going to get into
Somehow.
the San Francisco Bay Channel and it's going to swim all the way to him.
Just
Like
for Captain
him. Yeah, just for him. It's like, because in the comics they explain it that like
Goes in the jail cell.
a piece of, not even the whole symbiote that's on Eddie, a piece of it breaks
It's
off.
the offspring. It's
Right.
Venom's offspring,
It's-
right?
Exactly. And it actually makes sense because then that kind of starts to give way towards a bigger universe.
Right.
Now we've already seen all these symbiotes.
Yeah.
and it's not like there's any tease of the red. They could have
Yeah.
left the door there for
Yeah.
all the stupid fans who don't know any better.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's red. It's Carnage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
that's it.
Okay, yeah.
That's
But they
very
could have,
true,
though, you
because
know?
as someone who is familiar with the Marvel Universe and knows about Venom and knows that Carnage is part of...
Is an offspring of Venom.
Yeah. For someone who doesn't know much about it, for that scene to come out of nowhere is...
It's very,
it's
it's
confusing.
Yeah.
CJ, your thoughts, good sir.
I mean, I don't know. It's whatever.
Good answer. Thank you, CJ.
that
is
That's
all.
what we needed to hear. It's whatever.
It doesn't like you said, like all you said. You know what I mean? It was the definition of a tease. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't do anything for me. It was like it's like a scene version of that like little teaser at the end of Batman Begins where he just shows the Joker card and you're like, oh yeah, the Joker's
Yeah, right.
But the biggest thing though is that they casted Woody Harrelson for that one
Purposely,
scene.
exactly.
Exactly.
It's
So
not,
I'm like,
it's not a reference of who Tom Hardy's going to go talk to. It's not who are you seeing today? Oh, a serial killer by the name of Cleland's Cat.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, it was like, here he is, and there's going to be
Carnage.
Carnage. Like, you're like, oh, what's the tease there? Who's that guy? Who's he? You better watch out for the Spider-Man. Who? Who in Sony is a Spider-Man? Give me a fucking break. Sorry.
Fracking.
I am about to edit this so much right now. That's okay.
No,
Frack it, we just won't air it on the
Yeah.
station.
Frack it.
Frack it.
You said it too.
I've said it a few times,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I realized afterwards, I was like, oh shoot,
Yeah,
I
you're not
probably
going to be
shouldn't be
invited
swearing.
back on the
No,
show.
you
My
are.
bad.
You definitely are. But I'm just gonna have to edit
I'll
this
watch
shit
it.
out.
I'll watch myself.
I mean, Frack it.
What?
We're already.
Fracking
We're
it, eh?
already.
Already in deep.
It's already in, so you have to edit it anyways. It'll go fine on the YouTube one.
You just, add some bleeps in there.
Yeah.
But do we have like a positive, like pros and cons?
So of the
list
movie.
right now? Yeah.
So overall, I enjoyed it personally.
Right.
There were definitely like I think TJ and I were talking about. There was a lot of holes in the movie. Like
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
was Riot going there? Like it took forever.
So before you even get to those holes, it was very obvious that they cut out a lot of the movie.
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
It was is that I felt like the first act was 40 minutes and it felt like
Yeah.
act 2 and 3 were 25, 30 minutes.
Yep.
And it felt like as soon as he got introduced to Venom, the movie was almost already over.
Yeah. It was like they were trying to fill in a lot of information
Beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just so everybody
To get
can
you to
get on
care,
board.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really wanted like more of the like kind of Venom taking over. You know,
Yeah.
like once he
Yeah.
got
I
kind
wanted
of like,
to
you know,
know.
like because
Right.
like that, like I mean, and that scene was hilarious. Like him going in, he's like something's wrong with me, and like him getting
Yeah.
in the freaking, tank with the lobsters was hilarious. Like I'm like, I want more of that. Like that was really fun.
And that's
for
what
me.
we were
And
going to
that-
see, and then they cut a lot of that out. I think a lot of him
That's
getting
upsetting.
to know his Venom powers was him fighting these dudes and eating people, and you see that there's the interview with him and the guy who's like, oh, I heard they cut a lot out of this, and you can see like
You told me about
Tom
it.
Hardy. Yeah, Tom Hardy references himself. Yeah, they cut out almost 40 minutes of the movie. And you go, oh,
chipped.
that makes a lot of sense. They tell these high-pri actors, come on board to the superhero movie, we'll give you creative direction, and they get the R rating, and then they neuter it.
CJ, your thoughts?
What, on what he just said?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
I-
I feel the same way. It felt, me and you have talked about this, Renee. It did feel kind of like there was something that was changed. There was a definite tone that they were going for when they shot this.
Uh-huh.
And then somewhere in the editing room, somewhere between editor, director, and studio, it became partly something different. Because it did kind of feel like, it had these horror elements, and
Yeah.
I really feel like they kind of stuck with that because Venom as a horror movie works
Would've been
well.
amazing.
You know what I mean?
Because it's creepy.
yeah.
It's creepy and it's
'cause
gross.
I think they were going for an R rating.
It's
but
like, it feels like Species or The Thing
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
or aliens.
something
yeah.
supernatural,
Yeah.
but it's very visceral.
Because I
and
think
it's
they
organic.
wanted PG-13 because they want to bring Tom Holland to play into that universe, that Spider-Man.
But
But I mean, why? Like this,
I mean, I would like to see that, honestly.
I would
but-
too, but I wanted to. So TJ and I talked about this. Like they got the character right, but they got the story wrong. They had the story right in Spider-Man 3, but they got the character wrong. They got Venom wrong. Can we see that? We have a picture of Venom in Spider-Man 3. Can we see that Venom?
That's right.
That-
I
that-
don't even think I saw Spider-Man 3
This is
because I
the
was like, this is gonna be awful.
This is a family-friendly version called Venmo. This is Venmo. This isn't Venom. This is Venmo.
This is
Oh, I
Venom.
thought
Let
this
me
was
transfer
streaming
your bank
service.
accounts. Yeah.
Gosh.
That I prefer this Venom to that Venom.
Oh,
Oh, that was,
yeah.
yeah.
But the
I'm
story
get
was
kicked in the balls than that Venom. Personally, I don't know. Terrible movie.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, same. I too would rather you be kicked in the balls.
I think we got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left.
Rock and roll.
Cool.
We got the rock and roll symbol from Mr. Tua right there.
Perfect.
Any last thoughts, anyone, before we carry on?
Start with you.
Oh no.
Should people go see it?
I guess.
I guess.
I-
I did really like it. Like, I thought it was a really fun movie to watch. I think it is worth definitely going to see. I think I do feel gypped, especially knowing what it could have been, which is unfortunate. I kind of wish that they would release what it
Yeah.
should have
Well,
been.
there's always going to be a director's cut, right?
You would hope
hope
that they'll
so.
release
Yeah.
everything though, because even on some director's cuts, they don't put it all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I said this is my second time seeing it. I enjoyed it a lot more the second time.
Yeah.
I hope to see Tom Hardy keep not losing hope. I hope to see him continue to work his ass off and not get screwed over by directors.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He's such a sweetheart.
Such a
Tries so hard, puts his all in, and they're like, "Fuck you, man."
I know. Well, yeah, I know. Like I said, I really liked it. I think it's definitely worth going to see.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, I
fun.
just kind of feel a little bit gypped. But I honestly thought it was when it first showed up. Like, I thought it was going to be a Marvel movie, and it's unfortunate that it's not.
CJ, good sir.
Well, I liked it. As a casual moviegoer, I liked it more. I feel like as a Venom fan, I still liked it, but I was just a little disappointed that they even came out with it as a Venom fan. But I still liked it. You know what I mean? They ticked all the right blocks for me, minus Spider-Man, but we knew that going in. So.
I enjoyed it overall, but I just want to see. To me, it's not Venom without having Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
this is
I feel
Venom
the
in
same
name
way.
only. Like people haven't got. This is to me
But
Venom.
it was cool to see a better depiction of
Yes, it
it.
was
Yes.
cool to see him.
Like an actual proper depiction.
All right,
None of
and
that
so
Grace Topher.
we're getting the wrap up from Mr. Tweet. His little lap dance thing. All righty, we'll see you next time. Maybe Aquaman next time. Whenever I come back from Mexico, we'll see it or whatever.
Woo.
All right, thank you. Would you come back?
Of course.
Yes, perfect. Great job.
Yeah, duh.
All right, good. Renee, definitely. You're a
course.
permanent third panelist right now.
Yeah.
All righty.
Third panelist.
Bye.
Bye.
Hope Mike is still
Very
up.
clear. Very clear.
Y'all come back now. You hear? They're
I
still
have so
doing
much
this.
editing to do for the public.
Smiling away,
My bad.
smiling away.
What last time you did? What last time you did was it Last Jedi? I mean not Last Jedi.
Spend some time.
Force Awakens.
Spend some time. Renee, you're the only person not waving.
Oh.